Let's go ahead and set up an initial project in our UniConf software. So this software is designed with fleet management in mind, where you can specify all of your data loggers as well as all your different test configurations and assign them to individual data loggers. To get started, we're going to do a File, New Project. Now, I physically do not have a data logger connected to my computer at this time, so I'm going to do this in a more of an offline manner, where I'm going to do a File, New Project. I'm going to specify a project name. I am the instrumentation group. I'm going to select a project type where the data is going to be stored or transmitted. So I want the data to only live on the compact flash card, or I want the data to, of course, be written to the compact flash card, but then transmitted via the cellular modem. So I'm going to go ahead and select local CF card for today. I'm only going to read data directly from this data logger when I'm ready to read it. Then I'm going to select a logger type. My loggers on the back of them have a white sticker with an article number. We want to match that article number with the hardware that we will be using. So I have matched my article number. I have a 4CAN31 digital in and output with a cellular modem, that's what the UMTS stands for, and a GPS chip. And I'll press finish. Now we can see that the tree view has been populated, and we'll expand each option. The next thing I want to make sure we do is we need to match the serial number of the specified in the data loggers with the actual data logger we're working with. So if we go to the project properties window, we're going to go to the serial number area, and we're going to type in the data logger serial number. Today's data logger is 636. I can also in the properties specify any type of VIN information. I could specify, if I know offline, the license or hardware information and properties. Otherwise, if you connect the data logger via USB, it will automatically populate this information. You may need to enable certain protocols here to be able to utilize them. Understand that you must actually have a license on that data logger to support these license features. This is where we can also specify our configurations, which measurement configuration we intend to use. So by default, we can tell the default is bolded by this new measurement configuration, and it's the only one we have available. So let's go ahead and set up a test. So the first thing I want to do is set up the CAN interfaces. I can turn them on. I can make a comment. This would be for my vehicle bus. I know that my bit rate is 250,000, and that's all I need for setting up my CAN bus. On my CAN bus, my vehicle bus, I will need to import a DBC file. So I'm going to right-click on Signal Sources, Import Signal Database, and I'm going to go ahead and import an A2L file that comes from my vehicle. I'm going to assign it to CAN1. I'm also going to import a mini modules DBC file because I've tied in some of CSM's mini module, the analog to CAN devices, to take real-world sensors and tie them onto the CAN bus as well. And I'm also going to assign that to CAN1 because they are all physically T-connected together. So if I double-click the DBC file, the signal sources, they'll open up, and the last signal source I want to import is the system signals. This is internal information on the data logger itself. But here we can see in the A2L file the variety of signals from my engine that I can record. These are all my sensor DBC signals, and then my system signals. So now that I've imported all my signals that signal sources that I intend to grab the signals I want to record, I now need to tell the data logger what to record. So I'm going to come down here to Channel Groups, select New Channel Group. I'm going to double click on this channel group to open it up. And I like to use drag and drop a lot, so I'm going to left click and hold the channel group, and I'm going to move the window down here to this lower box and release, and now I have a nice split window. And you can do that with all the windows that we have here available. I'm going to also go ahead and rename this channel group. I'm going to call this Test A 1 Hertz, so I know that this is a slower recording group of information. And what I'm most interested in is my CPU load, CAN bus load. I'm holding control down to select non-consecutive signals. I can also hold shift down to select consecutive signals. This was my digital in. And then all I'm going to do is left click and hold in this far left column, drag and drop. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my signals I'm interested in. So I'm going to hold my Shift key down now and drag and drop those as well. And the last but not least, I'm going to use Control A to select all in my A2L, and I'm going to drag and drop those signals also. And then down here, I'm going to set all the sampling rates. I'm going to do a Control A to select all. I have 17 signals I'm going to change. I'm going to hold my Control button down, and then I'm going to change the sampling rate for all of them down to once a second. So I'm only interested in looking at this data at once a second, even if it is being transmitted faster. We'll also see that the CCP examples, CAN calibration protocol, requires us to assign DAC lists. This is part of that protocol set. You will need to know what to set, how to assign your DAC list. So I'm going to select just these signals by using my Shift key, holding it down, selecting the signals, hold my Control down, and then change everything to a 100 millisecond DAC list. You can always double check your DAC list definition by coming back over here to your A2L, double clicking on the ECU definition, and you can see the DAC lists that are defined, as well as what you have available to modify in the properties window for that DAC list. Understand that the DAC list modifications are semi-limited, so and you must have your expert modes turned on in order to make more modifications. We do recommend that you don't make modifications unless you are very familiar with DAC list and the CCP protocol. So with that said, I have now imported all my signal sources. I've told the data logger what I want to record, and by default, I have a trigger defined in my channel group. So this is the properties of my channel group. If I press the edit button on this trigger, we can see down here this trigger has opened up, trigger 1. It's always on, which means the instant this data logger is fully powered on, I am ready to record information and we are ready to go. So the last thing that is left really is for me to now save my project, of course. So I'm going to save my project as test A for the time being. Well, actually, I'm going to call this one master. And then I can right click on the data loggers, go create all CF cards. And it's told me there's an error in my configuration. So let's go ahead and check our project. Let's press F6 here, also known as File, Check Project, and let's see what it has to say. So it says I have the wrong bit rate set for according to my A2L, and I require a CCP license. So I know that my physical data logger has a CCP license, so I'm going to change this to yes. I just clicked on the data loggers, went to properties, double clicked on CCP protocol, and then I'm also going to go up to my CAN bus and change it to 500K. So let's press F6 again. We are happy as a clam. So let's save our project, right click on data loggers, create all CF cards. We only have the one, of course, selected, so we press next. We select our CF card itself, which is this one here. I press start. It says make sure that the card 4636 is inserted. I press OK, and we have successfully written to that configuration, and we are ready to now begin our testing.